Welcome back to Bonded by Bravo. Happy hump day, Dom Jen. What's up?
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to leave.
Yeah, you're coming over here.
Yeah. So
when do you leave? Tomorrow.
Yeah, we boarding is at 5:45 a.m.
That means you have to get to the airport at 3:30, 4?
No, I mean, we have pre-check.
Oh,
also,
good.
SFO. We've heard me talk about it 1,000 times. It's very efficient
delightful.
there. I went no makeup today. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that decision, but here we are.
I think you look great.
It's too late now.
You still have that young, youthful look about you.
Thanks. But no, I'm excited. It looks like the weather literally dropped today. Like yesterday, it was like 81 degrees in Philly.
Here? Oh, it's hot Philly, here.
Well, yeah, like Philly was, I think it was like 81 yesterday, maybe today too. And then tomorrow drops right down to 67. And I'm like, oh my God, the weather gods are looking out.
Oh, I don't want hot. I'm looking at it too. Hot. Yeah, because I've been sweating. I'm in like a t-shirt. Oh yeah, next week it's actually 60. Yeah, it'll be fall. That's good. You'll get the fall vibes.
Yeah, we're doing like a little family happy hour tomorrow. So, or not tomorrow. Tomorrow. Right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah. How was your thing on Sunday?
Oh yeah, we had a sketch show on Sunday. I think we found out Sunday is not the night to do a sketch show. Like trying to get people out and laughing on a Sunday night at 7:00. It's just not the vibe. And
especially 7, maybe like 4 or 5.
Yeah. We had to work for every single solitary laugh we got. And we worked. I looked at my Fitbit on my watch and it said I did 69 zone minutes.
What's that?
Where like it means like where your heart rate, it looked like I worked out for the hour. And I was like, yeah, I bet the hell I did, because it was one of those things where right after you're like having a little bit of an existential crisis where you're like, what am I doing this for? Who cares? There was like one moment. I wonder if I should say this on here. I'm going to say it. So a friend of a friend of a friend is dating Jonathan Groff.
Okay.
Like Leah Michelle's best friend, Jonathan Groff.
He's from Lancaster, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And there was like a moment where we thought he might be there and we were all giddy about that. And then he wasn't. And I saw where he was that night and I was like, oh, okay. It was also like the opening of Sunset Boulevard on Broadway. So I guess we just weren't in the cards for the Broadway folk that night. But it's okay. Life happens. You live and you learn. And what's that quote? Because I said this to my therapist yesterday. The feeling, the drive, or the wanting to quit is strongest right before you're about to succeed.
Okay. Well,
that's what the fuck I'm telling myself. Okay.
Okay. Damn. Okay.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about that more off air.
I'm just gonna apply my chapstick. There's some pop culture stuff. I feel like so much of it is so dark. P. Diddy, it's getting worse and worse. The pop culture stuff. Like I wouldn't even put that in pop culture, but the newest updates are a new accuser came out, Jane Doe, and accused him of raping her when she was 13 years old after the September 2000 VMAs, which he attended with Jennifer Lopez. And this accuser said there was another famous musician in the room who also raped her, while another famous female watched this happen. All of these people have not been named. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, it feels really unfair that all of these famous people are getting protected while they were bystanders in crime. Why are they getting protected? Why are their names not being named?
That's a really good question.
I want to know the list. Send me
I don't
the
know.
fucking list.
Do you think J-Lo was the unnamed female A-lister who watched? I mean, if her and Diddy were together at the time. Also, as you just said that, I started to think, like, could this have anything? This is really going on
I know.
this be going off the rails here, but her kind of need to always have like these like long-term, she's like this serial monogamous, like I wonder if there's any like of that trauma that makes her kind of gravitate to these men and sort of like she can kind of hide behind her relationship.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
It does. And the fan of J-Lo in me wants to believe that she didn't participate in these parties. But we all know J-Lo was there the night of the shooting when Diddy, that whole thing where Diddy indicted Shine for, I mean, there's a whole Netflix documentary coming out about Shine on November 18th. Can't wait to watch that. Someone else whose life was ruined by Diddy. But we all know J-Lo was there. So back then she didn't have the celebrity she had now. And so was she there? Was she participating? I hope to God she was not in the room while a 13-year-old girl was getting raped. But the chances of the Jane Doe's name getting leaked, I feel like are more likely than the chances of these A-list celebrity getting leaked. And that just feels so unfair with everything that's happening.
Unfair.
And it shouldn't be that these folks are getting to just go on and live their life, and there should be consequences for participating in this and being a bystander. And yeah, I just wonder how many more names are going to come out. When are they going to drop? I've heard from the lawyer for all of these defendants that celebrities are like throwing money at this problem just to not be named. So
I hate that they can do that.
I know. It feels
so fucked.
Especially when it comes to sexual assault.
A 13-year-old, 9-year-old. This is like,
I know.
So fucking
it's
disgusting.
Really dark. It's making me, you know how people, I mean, wow, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, but there's always been so much talk about the Illuminati and things like that. And this like secret underground. I don't know if I disagree so much about that anymore. I saw on a podcast that Tupac's family has recently rehired lawyers to reinvestigate his murder to look if Diddy was involved. And if you look on anywhere on TikTok, there are a lot of theories. And I mean, Keith D, who was arrested for Tupac's murder, says that there was $1 million hit on Tupac's head at the time he was murdered, and that Diddy put that hit on his head. So the the conspiracies aren't that off.
Yeah.
Especially now 10 years ago, we'd be like, yeah, sure. And now it's a little too close for comfort. We know this is going to continue to unravel, and every week it's more information's coming out.
Oh, it's just, the way that these like celebrities can get away with this shit though.
I know. I went down
just because of the money. I mean, it's literally it's like crazy how loud money talks.
It's absolutely disgusting, because also like that Abercrombie guy just came out yesterday. The CEO of Abercrombie, or the founder of Abercrombie, came out against sex trafficking as well. And that was years and years he's been doing this.
The sex trafficking is obviously all of it's so disgusting, but the sex trafficking just like scares the shit out of me. Like it all is so scary, but like when I come home from work, I see all the, like the workers, like the feud, when I'm walking home, and like when there'll be like I remember one day Kyle and I were coming home on we were sharing a Lime scooter, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are so cute." Like you hear them talk to you so normally, and then you have to it takes you like right to them being humans, and then you're like, holy fuck, how did you get here?
You're someone's daughter. Someone's
and like they're
sister.
So sweet, especially like they see us. Like my friend Kylie and I were going out one night, And they were like, "Oh, you girls look so cute." And like, we were just like chopping it up. And it's just, when you have these conversations with them, it just like humanizes them. Like, I think it's
absolutely,
we like in our brain sort of
we can
like put them in like, this is so terrible.
compartmentalize.
Yeah, sort of, because we have to, right? Like, we don't
we
want to
can
think
never
about.
think,
It's too heartbreaking to think of
Yeah.
it in any other way.
And I'm sure that like addiction runs rampant if we were to pull the stats on that, and it's people being taken advantage of. Oh, it's really sickening.
So heartbreaking,
Diddy deserves everything that's coming for him. And the fact that he is pleading non-guilty, he is a sick individual. Sick.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's been, since our last podcast, Liam Payne from One Direction passed away. I know, a lot of depressing news this week.
This is dark.
I know, a lot of, all of his, I believe all of his other band members came out with statements. It was in Argentina last week. There were numerous substances found in his system. I just think there's not much to say about this other than just our hearts go out to his fellow band members, family, girlfriend. You know, it's sad to see the demise of someone who was so beloved at one point in their careers, Yeah. Speaking of career, two music folks we wanted to talk about. You know, I love Brianna Chickenfry from Barstool. It's so weird. She like got in my Instagram or my TikTok algorithm, and I don't even listen to the podcast. But specifically her and Grace O'Malley, they're Boston gals. They're very, you know, down to earth chicks. We can relate to Boston gals, you know, like chill, easy to, and it's funny. I don't listen to their podcasts. I just kind of like their vibes. Brianna Chickenfry was dating Zach Bryan. I said Luke Bryan. This is how much country music star Zach Bryan.
And Zach Bryan, for anyone who doesn't know who he is, like he is kind of transcended from country music into very much the pop culture world. Like, he's telling story. He's, you know, he's no Taylor Swift by any means, but I think the storytelling and being able to sort of walk the line between country and pop.
Yeah. He could go there.
And he went from YouTube, like people following him on
YouTube.
Really? Yeah, he actually got like, I think he got honorably discharged from the Marines because it was like the fame from his YouTube stuff was getting too much and it was becoming like a liability. And so he was just like doing that on his own. He's like from Oklahoma originally. And then he went from that to like stadium tours, like not even like big venues where like we have, you know, there's like stadium tours and then there's like the really and then there's kind of always that in between like I'm thinking if you're in Philly, like the Union Transfers or, you know,
Forest Hills and New York,
and so for here, like the Warfield, and skipped right over that to stadium tours, like which is a really,
that's insane.
I mean, we talk about fame, we think about, I mean, just coming off of when you were just talking about Liam Payne, like, I feel like fame is probably what cut his life short, and just like being kind of skyrocketed into
and
fame
then
the way
down.
Zach Bryan, for Zach Bryan's, like, anyway, that was just a little background on him, but this whole thing is kind of fucked up, and I love him.
Okay, and I like his music, which I'm not a country girl, and I was texting a mutual friend of ours saying like, oh, I like this guy, he's kind of country, and she was like, yeah, you would, that's who all the country people,
me
it's like an intro to country, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And so she apparently they've been dating for over a year and a half. He was married before. And you figure usually military folks tend to get married earlier if they're in relationships from high school or college, etc. And apparently he posted on social media that they were broken up and that no one's perfect, which red flag if someone's putting that in their breakup post. And that he hopes to do better in the future. And then Brianna LaPaglia basically came on and was like, blindsided by that. We broke up last night. And if you look on our favorite source, Bravo and Cocktails, he was already back on Raya.
There were I think it was Dumois had posted a couple weeks ago about them.
Yeah.
About him kind of being sleazy.
Yeah. And so I was in, like I said, TikTok takes over. And apparently this is his MO, that he dates a girl for like a year and a half, gets all up in there, then is toxic as hell and ditches them. And she said, like, what she said in her post was so heartbreaking, just about how could he just discard her like he never knew her after such a short period, like after their time together. Girl, just you wait.
Isn't that so wild about breakups in general? Like how you can be so, like, it's the closest person in your life, and then that's it.
Nothing. I always struggled with that.
That's so wild. It's such a mind fuck.
Yeah. It's why I tried to stay friends with my high school ex-boyfriend when we broke up. I mean, we're still friends.
Yeah.
30, how many years later? 20 years later. Like, he's still the only boyfriend that I still keep in touch with. I went to his wedding and put myself through that torture because I didn't want to lose my friend group. And I thought it was so weird, that feeling. Like, it's so...
I was invited to my like high school, whatever, first like serious relationships wedding, but I opted out. I was like, I don't think she needs me there. Like, I know it's like so water under the bridge. It's been years, but it's still like it's still a little odd.
It was very weird, especially because his brother made a joke about me in his best man speech.
Yeah, we don't need any of that.
Yeah. And I was like, ha ha ha. And like 3 tables turned around and I was just sitting there smiling. Yeah. And it was like a joke how like I wasn't the one. And I was there with like my alcoholic boyfriend at the time. Like, oh my God, this is so fun.
How did we even get here?
I don't. Yeah. Anyway, Brianna Chickenfry, girl, don't worry. The best is yet to come. These tool bags and these no one's perfect red flags walking around. You have bigger and better things on the other side. We promise you. Yes. Last bit of pop culture, Taylor Swift. Another person that's taken over my TikTok is all of the people who are bringing their 8-year-old daughters to Taylor Swift in Miami last weekend. My mother would never.
Kelsey included.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but it seems like regular old people are bringing their kids to this concert. How? I want to go.
I don't know. My cousin went in freaking Zurich and got a weekend Lake Como before. So crazy. And that was her second time seeing her. She had already seen her on the Eras Tour.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I know.
I want to see it, but I guess it's just not happening for us.
Yeah.
But
I guess not.
Anyhow, that's she's back and she has new outfits and stuff. And like the way these kids go nuts about like the new outfits and oh my God, she's got a new Reputation outfit. And you're like,
it's crazy.
What?
She is the Beatles of this generation.
Yeah.
Even who said it? Ringo Starr just said that. So I did just steal his idea.
He did?
Yeah, so I did just steal his thought. So shout out Ringo. but yeah, he was like, the mania over her.
Yeah.
I just think about that hill. I think it was the one in London or Germany.
Yeah, Germany.
And that is, and this is one girl.
Yeah.
This is not 4, you know what I mean?
Well, love that for her. Keep living your best life.
Yeah.
What's happened with Bravo? We have so much to talk about in Bravo. I mean,
so there's been so Roni, you know what? Like I've said before, I can enjoy watching it because I can watch anything in New York. There's nothing happening really. It's like I just texted you even before. I was like, we can hop on and record now because there's like nothing going on in this episode. Nothing even right.
It's also like I actually did write a few things because to your point, like, will this cast last with their lack of drama, especially when we're comparing it to like the lawsuits and the crazy lunatic, like the lawsuits of OC and the lunatics of Salt Lake City, like these women that are fighting over being interrupted, and that scene in Roni where they're in the store guessing how much things cost because they don't go to the supermarket. Like, guys, can we just like put our privilege in our pocket? You're embarrassing us. I have a few things to say about the Sai and Uba of it all. I don't like a gang up, and I know that it happens a lot in Housewives. I don't like what Heather and Tamra are doing. I don't like what Sai and Uba are doing. Sai in this episode, she's just giving me try hard. Like, I'm trying to tell you that therapy's working. I'm trying to play like it's like the Monica and Friends when Monica's like, I'm breezy. I'm giving breezy. And that for me, Sai, we know you're not breezy.
Yeah.
But even if you're working your tools, like it's not giving me authentic. I feel like she watched the show, like she said, and is now coming back to play the like, I'm a cool cat. I'm not hungry. I don't need food. Like last year was all about the food and being hungry. And now it's all about like pretending to be a good friend and, you know, comforting Uba, wiping her tears. It's just none of it's giving authentic to me, which is weird because I think if I met Sai, I would think she was down as shit. Like I would think she's cool. I think she would be authentic as hell. I just don't know if she knows how to act when there's a camera around.
I think the other thing that's happening too is she did get so much flack last season, so she's responding to that.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, we have Jenna, who people loved and was cool as a cucumber, so that's probably playing in some of their psyches as well. Then you have Raquel, who I think she's cool and interesting, but so far, like, there's no drama. We're still getting some of the background, which is fine.
Yeah.
Rebecca's talking to Bryn about how she just doesn't play dirty at all. So I'm like, okay, so now we have 4 cast members that are unwilling to
participate.
And so it's fine when it's just one, or, you know, when you have that one Jenna or whatever of the group who's like kind of the breezy one, but half the cast is not going to work.
No.
You can't have 4 easy breezy girls on the Real Housewives.
Breezy, beautiful. And it's funny because to your point, like Bryn's working overtime. And I
felt for her this season.
Me too.
Like, I felt bad.
Same.
Like like what you said, like we hate a pile on, and that's just like,
I don't like that. And
I'm also not understanding Uba's point of view at all.
No, me neither. It seems like she's carrying, like she has other issues that she's bringing on, like the being interrupted. That sounds like a you problem. People are always going to interrupt you. Okay, great. Like that sounds like something.
So this was one part that I guess I sort of saw. This was the only kind of like glimpse I was like, maybe I kind of see, is that English isn't her first language. So then when she does get interrupted, she feels very like spoken down to, whether that's Bryn's intent or I don't think that's Bryn's intent.
No.
So that's definitely something that Uba is harboring, but I feel like that's a conversation not a screaming match. But she could have had to Bryn like, hey, this is a vulnerability of mine. Like, I don't know. This is not my first language. So if I trip up on words, I need you to not call me out, especially in public.
It's also interesting that she says Bryn's condescending while she's mocking her, railroading her with all of her feelings all at once, and won't, like, if Bryn tries to say something, she just keeps saying the same thing she's saying. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Don't mock me. You're condescending. You're condescending. And it's like, is this how you're getting things done?
She's so clearly so pissed that she's like at her breaking point. We just don't know what the back is. Like, we don't know how we got here.
I still think that she's pissed that Bryn called out but I think she thinks that's like a betrayal, and she's still holding on to that and not moving forward. But her and the Sai of it all, and then that weird puking drama, I just thought that was
so dramatic.
So dramatic. They're and Rebecca, I don't think she said a sentence last night. And whatever
that I won't get dirty. That's all she said.
Right.
Which
But
is
then
not
like
great.
everyone was making jokes and like having memes about the Bryn feeding her lines. But I almost don't blame Bryn because for God's sake, like give her something to.
Yeah. Bryn's like, let's make this show work. Let's
come on. Like she's trying to. Like that was a little like breaking of the fourth wall that she was showing us, and then everyone's making fun of it. I'm like, you think they don't have these conversations regularly?
I'm trying to think like for the previews for this season, what was the drama? Like the only thing to me that has been so interesting like this far was the Aaron and Abe of it all. Like that conversation I found interesting because to me it's like very of the times a little bit like, oh, this is like a
you sold my crypto.
Well, and if we watched that scene 7 seasons ago, we would be like, what are they talking about?
That's funny.
And there's probably maybe in 7 years we'll be like, wow, that was a time. You know what I mean? It feels like this little like time capsule.
I heard someone say, I can't remember who it was. It was somebody on Jeff Lewis, I think. Look at us bringing up Jeff Lewis on our podcast.
I know.
If you don't listen to that, it's my favorite. So behind Dax, it's my favorite podcast. He gets shit out of people in such a funny way. He actually did this episode with Katie and Jennifer from OC that was so good. Okay. Anywho, I heard someone say that Erin brought her husband, like their theory is that Erin brought her husband on to the show to divorce him. Like she's just planting the seeds. And I just thought that was an interesting take. Like, I don't know.
So.
I mean,
with 3 small kids, that feels real dirty.
Yeah. Who knows?
You know?
We'll see.
If she didn't have kids, I think I could buy that theory a little bit more. Yeah. But dragging 3 young kids through the mud on public, like on a public platform. Yeah, that doesn't seem.
You hope not.
Yeah.
Anywho, I mean, hopefully New York gives us something for right now. Yeah. We just kind of enjoying with one eye and the light drama of it all.
Okay, let's do Salt Lake City and then end on an OC.
Great. What do we have for Salt Lake City?
Yeah, right. Okay. Hold on. We'll get to that actually. Okay, so Brittany, why is she on the show? I don't even know how she got does she have a snowflake? I hope she doesn't have a snowflake. Is she a friend of?
All I can think of when you say Brittany is the conversation with Jarrett. Is that his name?
Yes. So that's what I wanted to bring up because
Oh my God. It is
this is like if all of the Bravo people we know from like Vanderpump Rules and Summer House, like all the men grow up. Like this is fuck boys. Like they cannot get the fuck boy out of them. Version. You can try and squeeze the fuck boy out of them. And it's just like, nope. She's literally saying, I need you to tell me that you won't like cheat on me and like look at other people. And he's like, well, I've given you all I could give. And I'm like, oh my God.
And he also says, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
If a man is telling you he's a good person, gals, it's a red flag. Senior citizens gone wild. The thing that drove me insane about this conversation that I could just not look past was she let him gaslight her the entire time and then said, you're my best friend.
With the heart. And wait, the fact that she ends up blowing up on Lisa for all of this, like Lisa's confusion was me watching the TV like, whoa, how did we get here? Like, he just gaslit the shit out of you into thinking this is Lisa's fault. You're the one that was, I'm sure, playing along with the text, laughing, having a good old time with your girlfriend. I'm sure they had a few drinks in them. And now she's like, you know what, Lisa? You ruined my relationship. Right. I'm like, first of all, this was not even a relationship. So nothing to be ruined.
This was the most chaotic shit you've ever. It's like it's literally like you're watching Tell Me Lies in real life, and you're like, but you're grown-ups. Aren't you supposed to know better?
Like
this is still happening.
In Tell Me Lies, totally makes sense. You guys are young and dumb and still figuring it out, and you have time to fuck around and find out. the time has passed, my guy. Like, and girl, like, this is.
I don't even fuck with Lisa, but watching her be like, what are you talking about? Like, you're blaming me for, it's like when your friend tells you that your boyfriend's cheating and you blame the friend for telling you. That's what, like, that's the vibe it's giving. And I don't even fuck with Lisa. And I was like, all right, I get it. And
crazy.
She also seems like emotionally very immature.
Yes.
That he would give me that he usually dates younger women that would fall for his bullshit, because I'm shocked. I mean, I guess I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that she would be into
I feel
this.
like maybe growing up in that sort of setting like stunts your growth.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I mean. This is what I mean about, like, between when you watch this and you watch OC and then you watch Roni, it's like, okay, Roni, you need to bring it in a different way, because y'all are like kind of normal. But when you bring us to Salt Lake, like we said this last week, I think you said this, it's like a parody of Real Housewives. The Salt Lake City women are a whole other level of Looney Tune. That heart will, I think, go down in Bravo infamy.
The thing with Salt Lake City too is like they like clock in. Like, it's like the cameras show up and they're like, all right, let's do this. Like, we're here to work. I would love to see what happens like when the cameras go down. Like, it does sort of feel like they're on an actual set. Like, because they're like the way Heather was stirring the pot this episode. I was like, how does Amy like her? Like, I was getting, actually, Jenny from Bravo and Blaze like posted, like did some whole episode recap on it. And I was thinking of her watching the whole time, because Heather was getting under my skin so bad. I was just like, she reminds me of, I even wrote this on the outline, but you know that meme of the little girl who has the house on fire behind her and she's just like smirking on the side? It's exactly Heather.
But like, if you think of Heather, she knows she came there to play the game.
That's what I'm saying. She clocks in. That's for sure.
Heather Gay is clocking in. Heather Gay sat through that whole last segment with dirt on her lip, and no one told that woman that she had dirt on her lip and on her face. She looked like she had a black and blue lip the entire time. I was like, no one's going to give her that heads up. And interestingly enough, as much as Mary irks me, Mary's showing up this season. And I've seen a lot of talk about this online, and I didn't really want to fall into this because Mary's as wackadoo as they come. But that last scene where Mary's calling out Heather and calling her two-faced, I was like, oh.
I loved it. I loved every moment of it. And I love Mary in a hip hop class. Loved. How'd they get her there? She would never in the season one. She would never.
But she's participating. And she seemed willingly participating. It was a little weird when they asked her later where she was and she wouldn't reveal. Oh, I guess it was because she was with Angie.
I know, but it's like, obviously someone's with her. They're filming a show.
Yeah.
When I watched Mary in that hip hop class, my immediate thought was, okay, I need to know what kind of conversations were had behind the scene, because there had to be some sort of like, we're willing to give you this check, but you have to be willing to play. Like, some conversation has happened, because she was in a hip hop class with Angie.
But wait, she was in a hip hop class
participating.
And in the same episode went ziplining.
Yeah, and loves it. She said she loves ziplining. Has done it in Jamaica. She's done it here. She's done it there. I'm like, oh, she's a zipliner. Okay.
And there was something about the way she called out Heather that was different from the nastiness that
she wasn't screaming.
Yeah. And you were like, oh, she's like, but why did you do that? You are like, she seemed more rational about it.
Yeah.
And obviously,
which I think is helpful.
And we know on the back end that she's separating from her husband and probably needs this check a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird. I never, ever, ever thought I would like.
I am concerned about her son.
I was going to ask you about that. What did we think that interaction was about?
I just really hope that it's nothing like serious.
What we think it is.
Yeah.
Because she was very vague, but it did imply something.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's just like about depression and not something more serious because yeah.
What did you think of Bronwyn's story about
I
her
was
daughter?
captivated by this. Captivated. First of all, that's so crazy. I was thinking about how this whole thing kind of came about just at the airport. Those two are sitting there. She sees the photo. And I was like, wow, is that possible? But then I was like thinking about real life experience. I was like, yeah, it is. There's so much small world shit. And like they are in a small town.
Yeah.
I mean, we think of
In like
Philly
the
and we've
same
had
community.
so much crossover,
Oh, yeah.
like, you know,
Oh, yeah. I mean, us specifically even.
Yeah, totally. And so I was like, okay, no, this is definitely like a possibility. The thing that I was, you know, my dad's obviously dead. And I was like thinking about how, like, damn, like how curious I am. And I even know stuff. And I'm so grateful that like both that side of the family and my mom, especially, like made it such a priority. Like, I even like recently when I was telling my aunt and uncle, like, I sent them a text just like, hey, Kyle and I decided we're gonna pop out of City Hall. Just a heads up, we're doing it on Dad's birthday. It was and like they both responded and they were just like, well, if this is not like you were so your father's daughter in this whole text. And just like that little thing, like I don't even really know what that means.
Right.
But like it could have been anything. And just the reference to my dad made me feel like, to me, I was like, excited. Like to me, it was a compliment almost.
Just for some context too.
Yeah.
Yes, your dad is dead, but similar to Bronwyn's daughter, he died when you were 2.
Very young. Yes.
Yeah, very young. So you didn't have any reference point of like his personality or I mean, even pictures in your mind of like memories or what he looked like. So
I can't imagine like how she must feel because
as the mother.
I would feel so like incomplete, I guess. Like
as
you just
the mom
don't know.
or even as the daughter.
Yeah, as the daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we've talked about this a lot. And I think like I thought it was interesting that Bronwyn said it would kill me to have the grandparents in her life. Like to share her with his parents. I thought that was
I don't know if I caught that part.
Yeah, but I think she said also it would kill her because they haven't had interest in wanting to be around.
And probably just like, what does that dynamic look like? Does it become more, is it like going to be like a stressor on her daughter's life?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Bronwyn, I like Bronwyn.
It's weird. I had judgments about her. I'm still a little weary, but after last week, when you gave me permission to like Housewives one week and not like them the next, that feels very freeing.
Yeah, I think we have to allow ourselves to do that.
Yeah, we have to. It's such a good.
It's too much. We can't commit. I think we learned that through the Vanderpump scandal.
It's true.
We can't put our eggs in anyone's basket because these people are all over the damn place.
This is not Love Island. We cannot put eggs in baskets. I'm interested to get to know her more.
And seeing Bronwyn next to Brittany or whatever, Brittany, as like 2 newcomers, it's like, okay, so this is how you do it. This is how you don't do it. It feels like Brittany's not coming back. There's just not. I don't even think. I don't think we'll ever see her again as a friend of.
No, and it's like Raquel and Rebecca on Roni.
Yeah.
Like Rebecca's not going to be back. I mean, Rebecca said no.
No.
Anyhow, so yeah, I'm the Salt Lake is bringing it for me this season. I don't know if you saw that Jen Shah's sentence was reduced to 2027, which is only technically like 2.5 years away. So mark our words that Jen Shah could be back on our TV screens before we know it. 2.5 years goes by like that in
so
Housewives
fast.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So fast.
Okay. Let's get into what is the
OC.
Oh God. I'm like, when is the reunion? I'm good on
this. Is a long season, huh?
I don't want to see Tamra's face
anymore.
I'm like so good on her, dude.
As we know, I'm watching OC, so I'm finally to season 9. Tamra has always been nasty though.
Always. Since the gate. I mean, you saw when she threw the drink at Gina, original Gina in whatever season. She's always been nasty as hell.
Did you see, so it sounds like we're going to just go right into Tamra. Did you see the rumors online?
No, I haven't. I saw them in the outline and I'm so confused.
So I guess there's some rumors going around. Someone submitted a blind item and then another account was like doing a poll of like, who do you think this could be? But they're kind of speculating that, again, allegedly, Tamra and Eddie are headed for divorce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Again, allegedly, this is a blind. So like, who knows? But as two people who have followed blinds for a while, a lot of them kind of do end up being true. I would say like a good like 90-ish%. And I guess they're really spending a lot of time at separate homes. So, and like they do have that Big Bear one, and then obviously the OC.
That's interesting. I guess we'll wait and see how that unfolds.
Yeah.
I just feel like Eddie, could be done with her shit, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. How do we want to start this? I guess Gina and Jen kind of chat about like Tamra's obsession with Shannon and the text from Alexis. I know Tamra really. I don't even know what to say about her anymore. I feel like I'm exhausted saying it's just getting so weird. Like her obsession with wanting to take Shannon down. I was really glad that Emily called it out in the moment. Thank God, because I feel like so often what'll happen is no one's calling it out in the moment, and then we cut to the confessionals.
Yeah.
Or it's Watch What Happens Live. And you're like, well, where was this before?
This person's in front of you. And it's actually funny because Bryn said that last night at the end of Roni, where she's like, you guys need to stick up for me in front of, like,
in real time.
I'm sick of this. And to her point, I'm kind of feeling like that with Shannon. Like, you guys are all saying that you have Shannon's back. You're watching everything that's happening. Like, what, you don't want to deal with the beast that's Tamra? That's not fair, especially if you call Tamra or especially if you call Shannon your friend.
Do you think that's what it is? That it's just like they don't want to go up against Tamra? Because she is scary.
But I don't think like for me, like I wouldn't be scared to go up against Tamra.
It's like a headache, though.
Exactly, because there's no rationale in going to
like scared. Not the right word. Yeah, it just is like, am I about to waste so much energy to get literally nowhere?
Nothing. And that's why it's almost like you're like fighting with a child.
Yeah.
And it's like you just tire them out until they go take a nap. And we're all kind of seeing, is that what's happening? I liked that Emily stuck up for her. And to me, that's, Emily is through and through.
Emily and Jen are having a really great season.
It's weird. I'm coming around on Jen and Katie.
Oh, good. Jen, I'm like, when she went up, we'll get to that whole thing. I do want to talk about, though, what is Heather so upset with Shannon about? I understand. I don't know. I'm not following. I'm like genuinely asking. Like I'm not following. Like I know that she like, was it that? And again, like genuinely asking you, like, is it that she felt Shannon came to her as like a safe space and opened up and got vulnerable, and then she heard it on Jeff Lewis and she feels used? But I don't get the used part. I'm really not following. I don't know
I'm
what
not
Heather's
following
problem
either. But I don't know if her and Tamra,
like, are they having a side conversation?
Right. That's what I think. But it couldn't possibly be that she felt used from the Jeff Lewis conversation.
And used is a weird word.
Such an aggressive word. Yeah. And Heather knows better. Heather's not some dum-dum.
I'm so glad that I'm actually, the reason that I kind of started watching OC from the beginning is because I said that I had liked Heather and you gave like a little pushback, and I was like, I need to see what's happening before. And I'm not fucking with Heather. I'm never either season.
No.
And the thing that really got me, she's not rational. She's no self-awareness is part of the problem. Like she doesn't know how to take accountability. Like
she thinks she does. And she gives off this entitlement that she is higher than mighty.
Yes.
All accountable, can handle her emotions above all.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the issue.
That's really frustrating. The thing with the dress got me so mad.
Oh, earlier in the season. Yeah.
Well, not even that was also shady, but with looking at the price tag of Jen's dress and then okay, so hold on. One thing to see the price and have your own inner dialogue about, damn, how is she like affording this? To call Tamra in the moment and gossip about it and try and paint it as you are concerned. No.
But this is the thing. This is Heather 101. When she's not painted in the right light, she tries to twist it around, because then she's like, I was not gossiping. I was concerned. Bitch, we know the game you're playing. You're not hiding from anyone. Heather is so not authentic to who she really is. None of us can believe what she's saying. She wants to paint this picture of a white picket fence and her perfect children and her perfect life and her perfect husband and her perfect paparazzi photos. No one's fucking buying it. The reason everyone likes you is because you're camp and you are
rich.
Fakeness. Yeah. Right? Like, no one thinks that you're like this downright good person. Everything you do is for aesthetics, the way you look, the way you're perceived, and that only goes so far, and no one's believing you.
It is a weird, it seems like a weird team up, her and Tamra.
Oh, especially because of years, I think it was just last year where she was so upset about Tamra not being a good friend to her.
I wonder what that's about. Like, why is she so in her corner?
Well, it feels like what production, like you're working with production, or you have some little thing that you're going to go, you're teaming up for when the reunion comes.
And then like when I think they're on maybe a bus or something, but Gina even says at one point, there was like a whole gang up was it a gang up on Gina? Either way, there was like something happening, and Gina straight up was like, it's like, she says something along the lines of like, it's hard being your friend. Like I as soon as I have a feeling about it or emotions about it, then it's like, I can't have them because now that affects you in some way. It's just that it seems exhausting to be close with Heather.
But do you really think she allows anyone to get close with her?
No.
I wouldn't say that she does.
I hope Gina stops trying. Like, I hope that she's getting to a point finally where she's like, I actually don't need this.
Yeah.
Like,
it seems like she is, especially when she is the likes of like Emily in her corner, and
I think with like this, it was like, I think maybe now that she doesn't have just Emily and she has Jen and Katie as well, she's feeling like, okay, I can sort of shift my focus over here and like let go of the Heather and Tamra of it all.
I mean, people need to. Poor Shannon, like this is her birthday trip and it's all getting fucked up. So we get to the
Shannon and her notes though.
But Shannon is riling people up. Shannon's like, y'all are coming with me, Tamra. Yeah. I know you're coming for me, Tamra, but if I'm going down, bitch, you're coming with me. Because it used to be Shannon and Tamra plotting this whole, like, the season out. Yeah. And now that she knows that Tamra's going against her, she's bringing all of her notes back. She's bringing her receipts. And
let's talk about the receipts, though, and the notes. Because this pile of, like, papers on these little notes, I was like, when Heather was like, you can't bring them into trial. And I'm like, I mean, technically you can, but
that's so funny.
Watching them crack up, especially like watching Emily genuinely laugh at these notes was like making me kind of laugh, because it was like the serious moment. And then she's just like fumbling with the papers. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Because you know, it's like watching your mom when your mom's like trying to give you something or like,
yeah. And I just last night got introduced to Shannon when I was watching OC season 9. And so I didn't know, first of all, I didn't know she was that rich. That house she had with her ex-husband.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit.
Yeah, lifestyle.
And then, oh my God. And then I also didn't know she was like into the heel. Like, I didn't know she was like that
Chinese
spirit, like the heel. I didn't really know that about her because I hadn't seen any of the previous stuff. And that she was so into like the green housing and stuff. And I was like, oh,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's like, I like it.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So we get to the ending scene that basically, I would say, solidifies Jennifer Pedranti as a housewife of Ocean County.
Orange County.
Oh my God. Orange County for years to come.
They literally hold an orange. And Jen's getting that center orange next season. Mark my words.
Oh my God. That's a hot take.
Mark my words.
First of all, I was obsessed with her outfit. I keep thinking you should wear that outfit.
I love that outfit. I want that shirt. I think Amanda Batula has that shirt too.
For sure. There's a million versions of it while you're here. She said it was Zara.
Okay. I'm sure that's Tamra and Heather approved.
Oh, right. Yeah, because it's
a Zara price tag. Yeah, it's in her budget. Fucking bitch.
So Shannon basically says to her, oh, just so you know, 2 years ago, Tamra tried to do a background check on Ryan. Because Shannon's like, you're all coming down with me. This was shady of Shannon.
It was, but you know,
I would probably do the same thing.
I think Jen calling Heather, and I was glad that she called Heather out and said, like, straight up, do you have a problem with my dress?
Right.
And
good.
Like Heather,
and then Heather's like, oh no,
I know. But then and then like Shannon and this whole dinner was frankly a fucking mess, as they are.
All I could look at is their espresso martinis. That's what I was.
They're so tiny. They were tiny.
Tiny.
That was like a sip. What was I going to say though? Yeah, no, I was really glad that Jen first showed up at that dinner. And then when she came for Tamra after the text that Shannon showed her, I was like, hell, she just was like, I'm fucking done with you. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Worry about yourself. And the thing is like, she read them so correctly when she said in her confessional, they do not have anything we don't know anything. We haven't even seen Terry. Don't know anything about any of their kids this season. Like, Tamra and Heather have no storyline. We don't get any glimpses into their personal lives at all.
It's interesting that they're teaming up.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that solidified her in housewife royalty to come.
Totally.
And Tamra's reaction, like she had nothing to say. And she's like, I didn't
so much here.
She's like, I didn't do a background check on him. Excuse me? You literally, I mean, there's proof in the pudding. It says right there, just admit it. If you're gonna fuck around, just own your shit. You act like such a badass, just fucking own it.
And she said, yeah, she said, oh, I was just checking to see if he was like really
a realtor.
And it's like, why? And the other thing that I don't understand is, for all of Ryan's flaws or whatever, why can't we look at like, damn, he did step up and like let her and her 3 kids or her 5 kids, I don't even know how many kids she has, all move into the home like that. I mean, anyone can do that.
I'm not ready to get behind Ryan. I got to be honest. He gives sleazy vibes.
Still
I don't know.
Acknowledge that he came in when she needed him. She'd be out in the streets.
He gives me like, I don't know.
Take that out of it. Like literally imagine being a single mom, having all those kids and having nowhere to go, and your boyfriend opens his doors to you.
I just think he probably has ulterior motives for a lot of the things he does. And I don't know if I'm ready to back him this week.
Okay. Well, we're working.
It could change next week, but he gives me really like sleazy, untrustworthy vibes.
Well, good thing, because Jen secured her bag this season.
She did. She secured it. She's not going to need anyone after this year.
I also hate that they keep saying she doesn't have a job when they all know they're getting paychecks from this job. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's like not being, like it's like come on, we can all acknowledge that's, I mean, I love Emily, but like, this is her job.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is she not working anymore?
She's not working anymore. So it's like, I understand she's got money, but it's like, this is also her job. So we can't really sit here and say that Jen has no job when I know that they're filming a lot of hours and they're getting paid and they have the followers and they get sponsorships. Like, they're working.
And they typically, when they film, it's like for 3 or 4 months at a time. That's a quarter of the year. So that's a lot of time. I think we only have a few episodes left of this season of OC. I have to be honest. I'm getting towards the end. I can't talk about this shit anymore.
I can't talk about Tamra anymore.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
We'll see how the rest of this all shakes out. We have a lot coming up. I know Southern Charm's coming, which, speaking of, sad news came out today that Miss Pat's favorite butler, Michael, has passed. So sending thoughts and prayers to the Southern Charm family and to Miss Pat.
I had a thought though, when you just said Southern Charm. I actually had this thought laying in bed the other night, and I was like, oh man, I am Bravo obsessed. But we know nothing. You know how we've talked about the leaks in like between Vanderpump Rules, the Valley versus like Summer House versus, I was thinking about Southern Charm. We know nothing. Nothing. Yeah. We don't even know cast members.
And we knew everything last season with Taylor hooking up with Austin.
Like, what do you think that's about? Like, there are no leaks in Southern Charm.
Hopefully it doesn't mean it's boring.
Well, either way, it's all going to be new information for us because we watch Vanderpump Rules in the Valley and we're like, we know all of this. Speaking of Vanderpump Rules update, I guess they're having some trouble with negotiations. Some people are unwilling to resolve. I'm like, just call it, guys. Who cares?
I don't think a lot of us care. I don't think a lot of us are like, oh,
why don't they just call it then?
Money? I'm assuming money. I mean, Lala had a lot to say she had a lot to say. She said her and Ariana aren't in a good place, will never be in a good place, that neither of them.
No one cares.
No. I'm sad that I have to see her in media rotations right now.
Why is that?
Press tour? I don't know. Maybe it's hopefully she's just doing Jeff, because Jeff doesn't really bring people on like in unison. So like for any reason. So hopefully we'll have a pause for her for another few months. But anywho, to everyone listening, we will be back next Thursday with an all new pod. We have all the Housewives drama, P. Diddy updates, and everything you could think of. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bonded by Bravo Pod. Like and subscribe on wherever you find your podcast at Bonded by Bravo. And you can watch full episodes of our podcast on YouTube every week that drop Thursday mornings. Until next week, friends, we'll be back.